when your freedoms are being taken. It is time for history to repeat itself and stand. Black Robe Patriots. Your host, Dr. Cindy Flowers and Pastor Ladina Boo.
Good morning. It's Ladina Boo from Stockton, Missouri, and my ever popular and ever beautiful co-host, Dr. Cindy Flowers. Where are you sitting at now?
Good morning. I don't. Oh, there we go. I think it's a little delayed.
Yeah, I've noticed that.
A little slow.
Yeah, well, we're all a little slow this morning. Oh, anyway, we are back again. We're the first show of the day, and we're the last show of the day today because Joe Inman and Stardust were sick this morning. And we put in new internet around here this weekend, and so we're just trying to figure out how it all operates. And so it's been a learning curve this morning. Forgive us for being a little late. So you're not in Watertown, Michigan anymore, are you? Was that where you were at?
I'm still there. I'm still moving, but I should be done in the next few days. Hopefully, yeah.
Better you than me. I despise moving.
Oh, it is. You'd think for a hobbit house, I wouldn't have much, but then when you start to have to pack things up, it's like, my God, how did I get all this stuff in this little place?
Yeah, well, I moved from a great big giant house into a trailer. And it took me 3 months to pack and move down. And I've been down there for about 15 years now. And there's a big portion of it that's still packed.
Oh man, I'm telling you, I cannot wait till this is over because it's a pain. Yesterday I didn't go. I thought, nah, I'm taking Sunday off. Now it's packing my books, and I've got books and books and books and books and no, I don't want to keep them in boxes, so because I have to use a lot of it.
Yeah.
They just
Well,
take up so much space.
yeah. And then you moved in with your mother and your sister to help out your mother. And that's an entirely new prospect, also. You and I are alike. We've lived alone. And putting in roommates sometimes can get distressing.
Yeah.
You love them, but you love them, but it's like, okay, can I love you while you're over there? So anyway, today we're going to talk about the 11th Amendment. If I could get off my robe. My robe is twisted here. I was having trouble sitting. Okay. The 11th Amendment.
That kind of month.
Yeah, it's that kind of month. It's that kind of year. I just kind of looking forward to 2024, but I'm still working on January stuff for 2023, so it could get distressing even worse.
Yeah, don't say that.
Okay, the 11th Amendment says, the judicial power of the United States shall not be construed to extend to any suit in law or equity commenced or prosecuted against one of the United States by citizens of another state or by citizens or subject of any foreign state. Okay. It's a whole lot of words that, you're sitting around going, what the heck?
Yeah. And I was looking over that these last few nights, looking at it, and I'm like trying to get around it to have full understanding of what it actually means.
Mm-hmm. Well, it really comes down to the 11th Amendment prevents it prohibits federal courts from hearing certain kinds of civil suits against states. And it's also been interpreted to mean that state courts do not have to hear certain kinds of civil suits if they are based on federal law. This all started whenever, back at the end of the war, and a citizen of one state was trying to sue the neighboring state, and
Mm-hmm.
they took it into the federal court system, which fine, most people would do that, and that was Cohen's versus Virginia in 1821, and excuse me, no, it was not. That was Chisholm versus Georgia, and the citizen of South Carolina named Alexander Chisholm sued the state of Georgia for unpaid debts. He said the state had not paid for goods supplied during the Revolutionary War. Georgia refused to appear before the Supreme Court, saying that federal courts were not allowed to hear cases against states. And the Supreme Court then disagreed and ruled that he could proceed in federal court. And there were several other lawsuits pending. And he was alarmed by the court's, this Senator Caleb Strong of Massachusetts was alarmed by the court's ruling in the Chisholm case. And he proposed this amendment, and soon it was ratified. But it really says that, if you want to, if I'm in Missouri, so if I want to sue Cindy's state, I cannot go to the federal court system and file a lawsuit against Michigan. I have to go to the state court systems. Now, there's a kink in that also,
Right.
because the state has to give you permission to sue them. Why?
How is that? See, and you know what? They said that the 11th Amendment was ratified February 7th of 1795 by the United States by citizens of another state or by citizens or subjects of any foreign state.
Uh-huh.
How?
They, and like you cannot,
That's just
I
as
cannot go
ridiculous.
and sue the state of Missouri for something unless I go to the legislature, or the attorney general, really, if you want to get down to it, the attorney general of the state, and get permission to sue Missouri for something they've done. And
But
it seems like it's
only if they,
fighting both ways.
but yeah, but only if they give you permission to sue them.
Right. So I
So
think it's cutting out a lot of lawsuits here, and these are all civil suits. I mean, we're not suing about laws or anything like that. We're talking about civil suits. So if the
yeah,
if the road crew comes by my house and the steering goes out on their road grader and they destroy my house, then I have to have permission to sue them for destroying my house.
so you have to. That does not make sense. That doesn't make sense at all. It's almost like it was. It's almost like that was put into law by like the governing people, not we the people. Just like the one thing I couldn't understand. How is it? And in the state of Arizona, how is it that that Hobbs can run for the governor and be on the electoral and be in charge of the electoral votes in Arizona at the same time? How
Mm-hmm.
can that be legal? How can
Yeah,
that even be legal?
yeah.
I mean,
They've sidestepped our laws in so many areas, and they put us under all these administrative rules that do not have the force of law. They've got You can sue under those administrative rules, but it's not going to get you very far. You need to sue because of the laws of your state or the laws of this nation. And, here you're saying, okay, I cannot sue the state of Missouri or the state of Michigan unless they give me permission to do so. I don't understand how they can say that that's right.
Yeah, exactly. I don't, that sounds to me like it was created Congress
Mm-hmm.
by, it doesn't sound to me like it was that it was an amendment for the people. I mean, we shouldn't have to ask permission to sue the state if the
Right.
state did damage or the state did something to you or to your property to, you know, that you can go after them and they have the right to go, no, you don't have our permission or this isn't good. And it's like, who are you? You destroyed my house with your, you know, with your,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah. I've seen those road graders get loose on occasion. Okay, my late husband, he operated a road grader, and I saw the brakes go out one day, and they were going down a hill, and this road grader was taking out everything on the way down until they got to a flat spot and got
oh,
got it stopped. So, that's why I brought in the road grader thing. Okay, but it just seems like this one is uh, counter to what our Constitution allows us to do. If our state is doing something incorrectly, I think we should have the ability to sue them without having to go and get permission to sue them. And this cuts us off from going to the federal court level in order to get a ruling on a civil matter. Now, criminal matters, that's an
right.
entirely different subject, but these civil matters, you know, a lot of times the problems are coming because your state has done something incorrect. Um, you know, the actually, whenever you go back in the history of this, they had Cohen's versus Virginia in 1821, and um, the court rejected a challenge to its jurisdiction to review a state court decision in a criminal case. And, because these two brothers were selling lottery tickets. And they defended on the ground that the federal statute authorized the lottery ticket sales. And they took it back and did this whole criminal thing and so forth. And it said that they needed to go back and sue the state originally. And so the court noted that a defendant who seeks appellate review of an adverse decision does not have to prosecute or commence a suit against the state. But it would not apply to the Cohens versus Citizens of Virginia because they were selling lottery tickets. So it was a criminal matter. It wasn't a 11th Amendment matter. But then in 1890, Hands versus Louisiana, the Supreme Court interpreted the 11th Amendment immunity broadly to prohibit suits against a state not only by citizens of another state, but also a state's own citizens, and in cases arising under federal law. So it essentially disavowed the contrary language in the Cohens and placed weight on the speed with which the amendment was adopted, and suggested that Chisholm had erred by upholding jurisdiction under the original Constitution, which could not have been contemplated individual suits against state. So we're getting all this regulatory legislation and so forth with regard to states and with regard to our federal government. And, in one lawsuit in Fitzpatrick versus Blitzer, the court held that Congress could not subject states to federal court laws through laws enacted under the 14th Amendment the power to redress discriminatory actions. And so, the Congress and the courts decided to go ahead and let them do that. So the 11th Amendment has gone back and forth with regard to who you can sue, who you can't sue, who you have to get permission from. The Seminole tribe in Florida, they were trying to sue the state of Florida, and they held that Congress lacked power to subject states to suit when it was legislated under various commerce clauses and things of that nature. So basically, the Supreme Court's decisions here of late give states immunity from suits that appear to go beyond the terms of the 11th Amendment. Suits by individuals against their own state have been barred. Suits by foreign states are also barred. And the court has further held that states enjoy immunity in state courts from suits based on federal law. So, state may consent to suits, but, like we said, you have to get permission from the state in order to sue them. I think that's stepping on our freedoms. That's something.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't think that amendment was created by the people and for the people. I think it was created by the states, and came together on a state and federal level, so that they can have power to decide. Well, you can't take that person to court, or you can't take this state to blah blah blah. So no, I think if you've got something, a righteous matter, all in rights, you deserve to come against the state. You shouldn't have to ask permission. You should be able to just sue them, like the guy here in Michigan that was accused back during COVID of wanting to kidnap Gretchen. They were found innocent. I think they could go back and sue her for putting them through all that, getting arrested and all that stuff. I would, I was being falsely accused and everything, and then found to be innocent. I would sue that. I would. And like these people like Kamala Harris had that young gentleman on death row and had the proof of his innocence the whole time. And then it finally got revealed, and he was released.
Yeah.
And that's time lost out of that person's life. They didn't do anything wrong. They were falsely accused, wrongly accused. So, I mean, you can't get your life back. So what do you do to at least get some sort of something back for having losing years off your life for that?
Yeah, and that's another suit, and you probably have to ask permission to sue somebody for putting you in prison all that time. But then we think about our J6ers still sitting in prison facilities around the country. They've been in there for over 1,000 days, and I don't consider that a speedy trial in any fashion whatsoever. They've destroyed their lives, and they put them through. Basically, I don't think even they're not torturing them per se, as far as what you would commonly think of as torture. They're not putting them on a rack or beating on the bottom of their feet like some what the Middle Eastern countries will do. They'll beat you on the bottom of your feet because after so long a time, you're not going to be able to walk. I mean, we're not doing anything of that nature. We're not waterboarding them, but they are not being afforded the same rights as the rest of the citizens in our country. And they can't very well go and sue a state because Washington D.C. is not a state, and Washington D.C. should never be a state. If you see all those things coming through saying they want to make Washington, D.C. the 51st state, it was set apart from the rest of the nation so that there would not be any conflicts of interest with regard to that. Washington, D.C. should never be a state. If you see that somewhere on a petition, you see that somewhere on a ballot, vote no, okay? Washington, D.C. is supposed to say separate.
Yep.
And so, we've got to watch what's going on, and this thing about having to get permission from the state in order to sue them for some matter just blows me away. I've gone through that
Yeah.
conversation with many people. It's like, well, the state won't let me do this. And, it's like, okay, well, then normally you could go and sue the state and, have them interpret the laws and see what's going on. And, in all likelihood, get your right to sue them reinstated or get permission to sue them. But a lot of times that's not happening. They're just leaving everybody out here to fend for themselves. And, you can't go to federal court and you can't go to state court. And I think that's why you get a bunch of angry people joining into a mob sometimes. We've had way too many
Well,
mobs
yeah.
lately.
Yeah. When they're not being allowed to be heard. Yeah, you're when you have every right to be, because they are slowly usurping on your rights to freedom of speech, and you have the right to be able to have a court case against somebody. They if and it's almost like they kind of want to, I sometimes think, is that they want to create vigilantes, because they put their boot they want to put their boot over an American's head, where
Mm-hmm.
they know their constitution. This is why it's so important, everyone, that you know your constitutional rights and you exercise them properly. Because if you don't know them, they're not going to tell you that, any of them, and they're not going to give them to you. They are going to they're going to take them from you, and they figure, hey, this person didn't know that they had the right to do this, or they had the right to do that. And
That's how we got our
no,
Miranda
they will.
rights. They had some guy that they brought him in on one charge and they were interrogating him and so forth. And they did not tell him that he had the right to avoid self incrimination. And so he turned around and he confessed to everything he'd done. And so then he got this horrendous term in jail just because he did not know his rights. We are not supposed to be subjected to self-incrimination. And, whenever we don't understand what's going on with our Constitution or our state Constitution, our state Bill of Rights and so forth, as long as they're not violating federal, you've got to look at both sets of laws, whether it's state laws or federal laws, in order to maintain your rights in any respect.
Exactly. I mean, even medically, there are HIPAA laws that are supposed to protect your privacy. They offer you the opportunity to sign papers. Do
Mm-hmm.
you want information to be allowed to be out? Do you want certain people to have access to your medical records? Or do you want to keep quiet? We have to come to you only and ask permission if we can share this or tell this person what's going on with you. That is your HIPAA rights. And look at all three. They were violating HIPAA rights. I mean, just in mass. It was awful. And it's like, what about our HIPAA rights?
Yeah. And they want to put all of your drugs on a database worldwide. So, if you want to go and apply for something, well, then they're going to give rights to certain people to go look at your medical records and what medications you're taking. And, they're going to use that against you one day. Okay. If you get in trouble someplace, they're going to go and take all of that and use it against you. Just like, if you're talking in a room with somebody and all of a sudden you start getting these ads on your phone over what you were just talking about, somebody's listening. Okay. Somebody is
Big
listening.
brother.
There's an algorithm out there, whatever the case may be. But, our freedom of speech is severely curbed because you never know who is listening. They've got lovely little things that'll pinpoint your car, and the cop behind you can understand everything you're saying in your car. We're being violated every which way but Sunday. It's crazy.
Exactly. Exactly. And you know what's really sad is people out there, yeah, you, talking about you, how many of you will be on Facebook? And the CIA and FBI said they don't even have they don't have to do half the work anymore. You guys put your locations where you're at. You tell people, I'm going out to dinner. You show exactly what restaurant you're at. It pinpoints exactly the directions of where you are when you're going to go to the park with your kids. You show, I'm here at this such and such a park, you know, and that's dangerous today. Plus,
Yeah.
you know, anybody can find you. Why are you giving out information as to where you are or what you're doing? And then you're even giving out information of what you're ordering or what you're eating.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, why?
Yeah.
Why? I don't understand that. I don't. I mean, I
Yeah.
could see if
I,
you did it and sent it in a text. But when you
mm-hmm.
post it on your Facebook for everybody to see exactly where you are or exactly where you're going, where you are at the moment, that you're getting ready to go on a flight, it is at the exact airport. Why?
Yeah. Um, I don't think anybody would be that interested in my life to start with. Um, I'm not that interested in my life to go posting it on Facebook. I'm really bad about Facebook. So if you
Yes,
message me, make sure you
exactly.
message me. If you're commenting on something, I'll never see it unless you put my name on it. Okay. Yeah, but we've got all this stuff going on around us, and we don't understand all of the administrative rules they've got in effect, whether it's a state level or a federal level. So a lot of times you're not going to know you're violating something because of all the administrative rules. And we need to get back to our basic constitution and live our life there. Let's get rid of the Department of Education. Let's get rid of the ATF.
Yes.
Let's get rid of a lot of those things up there that we don't need. Get rid of the American Library Association. Okay. If the library in your town is associated with the American Library Association coming out of Washington, D.C., then they're going to push all that filth into your library, whether you want it or not. You go with the World Library Association or something. They look at state specific things and what your state wants. And so the libraries that come in there, the books that come into your library that way are ones that are going to fit your values. The American Library Association has the values of wanting to destroy your children.
Yes. Yes. And now that we are going into, I don't know, the with the other states what they're at right now, I think we're still in bow hunting. Um, but we're going to be going into uh, uh, rifle,
Hmm.
shotgun soon here in Michigan, and right around Thanksgiving in the next few weeks. Let me make it clear. I heard on the Facebook from The View with Joy Bayer saying that if you go hunting with an AR-15, you will not be able to deer because it'll be blown to pieces. Secondly, as Biden said, there is no possible way in the world you can put 100, 100 amounts of ammo into an AR-15. It's impossible. Okay. An AR-15 is an AR, uh, Amorite, and it does not mean assault rifle.
No,
A-
that
Uh,
does not stand for assault rifle. And yes, I
no,
do know people that go hunting with an AR-15 or something of that nature. And when they brought the deer back to dress them and butcher them, trust me, they've not blown the deer to pieces. They have no,
exactly. Yes,
they do not have
and
exploding rounds.
the only difference is an AR-15. It is a rifle, just like you would take a rifle or shotgun out in the field. The only difference in an AR is how fast you move your finger. If you just move a shotgun, it's going to shoot like a shotgun. If you move your finger a little faster, then it will produce more bullets quicker. But there's no way that you can go 1,000 hours. You're gonna run out of ammo. And there's no way, as Biden was saying, nobody should have 100 rounds of ammo in their gun. I'm like, who has that? Who
Yeah.
has 100 rounds in a gun? You know,
Yeah, I
they're
think
done
even
with that.
when you buy the wheels, I think they only have, like 50 rounds at a time. I'm not sure. There's probably bigger ones, but, you know, if I like, they would tell me I couldn't have 500 rounds for my shotgun. Okay, I have rifles, and and I've got handguns and so forth, but I've also got shotguns. And I used to go out and do competition trap shooting, and so on those particular days, I'm shooting 500 rounds in a day. I'm going to go home with a bruised shoulder from shooting 500 rounds, but I'm can't put them all in the gun at once. Okay, you can carry all the ammo you want.
Exactly. How many times did you have to reload?
you know, um, let's see. I had my shotgun at that point. I could put 6 rounds in there. So, you know, divide 500 by 6. That's how many times I had to reload that day.
Okay. So see, you have to reload. There's no guns out there. So step out of that fairyland that they want to tell you. And an AR-15 will not blow your deer to pieces. If you aim for it and you shoot it, you can do it. It's a rifle. It's just a rifle, and it's not an assault weapon. There is a difference. You got to stop. You got to stop, because you know what? They want to take away those rights as well. Kamala Harris, I just heard going, that's uh, the most deadly thing in this country. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's
The
not.
deadliest thing in this country is people. People fighting against people, destroying one another, beating people up for no particular reason on a street corner because they're Jewish or they're, you know, uh, Asian
Yep.
American
Yep.
or they're white, you know, that's that's the people, that's the thing that is dangerous in our country, not our rights, not our
Yes.
ability to own a gun. And I think if you get to looking at the numbers, the people who legally own a gun have saved so many people who didn't have one. They stop crime. You go into a grocery store
Yeah,
and some person wants to point a gun at the cashier, and if you're in Missouri, at least, you try pointing a gun at a cashier and you're going to have six other legally owned guns come out and point right at you.
exactly. Exactly. Because, what was that saying? They said, what can a government do to citizens who have their guns taken away from them? Anything they want to.
That is
Anything they
correct.
want to. So they're bringing in all these people, professionals from where, all over. You don't know who's good from bad. It's a mix out there,
Right.
and then they went ahead and leave you defenseless. Now why? Why would the government want to leave you defenseless? It's not every day that the schools are being shot up. I'm sorry, but if we're going to go on that topic, check out my show and I will put on my tinfoil hat and we're going to have a conversation because
Yes.
because no.
you know, um, it's just insanity what they're trying to push on the American public. And, you've got to watch where you're getting your news from. Okay. If you're getting it from
Yes.
ABC, CBS, NBC, CNN, they're probably lying to you. I hate to burst your bubble, but they're probably telling you lies because they're running the script that the federal government puts
Amen.
out there. You have to find independent news. You have to find trustworthy news and go from there in order to understand what's going on. My personal preference, I like Epic Times, and I watch The Blaze. And The Blaze, at this point, they've gotten rid of all the advertisers so that they don't have to follow some corporate script and put out what the advertisers and the federal government want to say. They've gone completely independent from that particular scenario. So, it comes down to go to the library, check out the Constitution, see what you can and cannot say,
Yeah.
and proceed from there. And, stop this hate speech. Everything is hate speech
Yes.
anymore. There is nothing that is hate speech. Okay. We
Again.
have freedom of
Yes.
speech, period. And nobody has the ability to decide whether it's hate speech or not, unless you're just going out there and saying, I hate this person or I hate that person. You know, Stop trying to
Right.
step on everybody else and call it hate speech. You are strangling the ability of anybody's rights to say anything. Our colleges are rampant with that. Our colleges
Yes,
are
exactly.
destroying our children.
Yes, that's not hate speech. It's not hate speech, and these people need to understand this. It's not hate. What you have to understand is, okay, what you believe in, how it works here as an American, how it works is you can do whatever it is that you want to make. If you want to make that you're a woman or think that you're a man, that's go for it. Go for it. But what you don't have to do is force me. If I don't believe it, you don't have the right to force me to have to believe in what your fantasy or whatever it is you believe in. That would be just like to bring in Candace Owens had a stalker who was so delusional he was thinking he had these thoughts he was here because he believed that they were married. He believed that her baby was their baby and run off together and be married couple and everything. Now, should she have believed his illusion? Of course not. It was a delusion. Same thing with what everybody, what's going on here, that changing genders. Go ahead. Nobody has a problem with that. Do what you want. But you do not have the right to force me to say, hey, you will say this about me. I don't have to. I don't have to. Just like you don't have to say to me, just like you don't have to say to me, everybody has to love the Second Amendment, which I don't understand why you don't. But we have that difference of opinion. You have to leave that open. You have to.
And
It just
your
that
state
that's
has
the
gone,
whole.
yeah, your state has gone entirely crazy because if you say something up there with regard to gender or you use the wrong pronouns or something, they want to throw you in jail. That's hate speech. If you
Yeah,
use the wrong
yeah,
pronoun, $1,000 fine and 6 months in
yeah.
jail.
It, exactly. Yeah, and you can't do that to people. You can't. No, you can't do that to people because it's like you want some of you out there. You want us to abide by what you want and how you feel, but then when you disagree with us, we don't beat you over the head with it. It's like, okay, I don't agree with you. I think you're totally out your mind. But you know what? You're exercising your First Amendment right to believe what you want and free be a free thinker. But you won't let me or anybody else that disagrees with you
Right.
to be a free thinker. It goes wrong. This is why we are doing so much on the Constitution. This is why, yes, we are talking about the 11th Amendment, but this is why we keep going back over several of the amendments that we've already spoken of because they are being
Yeah.
so badly abused. So we
Yeah.
keep
And
going over them.
they all go hand in hand. You know, this was
Yes,
an entire
yes,
design of our government. These all go hand in hand. And, if you're violating one, you're probably violating two or three others. If you bring in a lawsuit under the 11th Amendment, well, then they're going to start bringing in portions of the 14th Amendment or the 5th Amendment or the 6th Amendment. They all intertwine. And you need to
absolutely.
understand the entire document in order to see how they intertwine and how to protect yourself in this nation. And, we are being abused so horribly in this nation and such violations against our laws. And we want you to know what they are. We want you to know how to fight them. If you can't understand something we're saying, give me a call, send me an email, Pastor Ladinaboo at gmail.com will find me, or Pastor LB at axmediagroup.com. That will find me. Dr. Cindy's address is up there, Dr. Cindy at axmediagroup.com. If you want,
Good.
if you have a question or you want more information, reach out. We're happy to talk to you. We invite your phone calls or your emails or whatever. You know, maybe that's most of our day.
I yeah, the emails, there's been issues on my emails where I haven't been able to get any due to being blocked from being able to get in there, but they're working on it, so eventually we can get in there. I don't know if anybody else is having an issue, but
We're all
I
having
do
that.
try.
Yeah,
you know
we're all having that issue with the axmediagroup.com just because they changed a few letters and they didn't get the entire system updated with that. So, we do have a little bit of an issue there. But like I say, you can always email Pastor Ladina Boo at gmail.com. And, my name's right there on the banner. And
yeah.
we're happy to take your questions. We're happy to talk back and forth with you, and we just want you to be more cognizant of what's going on. And we need to get back to that portion of time in my life. it wasn't that long ago when we could all agree to disagree on certain matters. Anymore, they're trying to say you cannot disagree, period. That's not free speech.
Exactly. Free speech, if you look at it, it's sitting down with people and saying, okay, what do you want on your pizza? Well, I
Right,
like this. Okay, well then we'll make sure that we don't put any on your half, or we'll get a pizza with this, and then we'll get a separate pizza for that. That way you don't have to have this and you don't have to have that. You know, there you go. Problem solved. Everybody's happy. But they're the biggest thing that they're trying to do is keep the division going. And if you really looked at what they're trying to divide you in, they're the great dividers. We're not,
right,
because they know that if we come together, we win.
right.
So they got to keep that division going any way they can.
Avoid the division, figure out how to talk to the people you disagree with, and come to a mutual understanding. Maybe, ask them what their thoughts on something, tell them your thoughts on something, and find a middle ground where you're not going out and throwing Molotov cocktails at people or anything of that nature. There's no need for it.
Exactly. Exactly. You can also get a hold of us here in the comment section. You can
Right.
ask us questions in the comments. And, that's the easiest because we can address them right here and now live on the comment section. We are looking, we can see it right from our phones. If you ask it, have any questions to ask, or you have a different idea or different thoughts of what, we're talking about, or you don't agree, put it in the comments and we could talk about it here. You know,
Yeah.
um,
We will
uh,
recognize whether you agree with us or not agree with us. We'll, if you comment something, we'll get back to you, and maybe we could end up on a different email account or something like that, and you know keep the discourse going even longer so that we
yeah,
can all understand one another. And we invite that daily.
absolutely.
If you've got something to say, get in touch with us. We'll be happy to hear it. Um,
Yes,
Anyway, I'm going
absolutely.
to cut us off here. I'm going to make you go away, Miss Cindy. I'm going to make you go finish moving.
No, don't do it. Don't do it. I just want to add something really quickly. If you haven't seen it, speaking of our First Amendment rights, if you have not seen it, check out Pastor Ladina Boo's site. Check out her and her last guest and stuff when she went to a protest. Was it last Saturday? Last
Uh,
Saturday you went?
I think it was, yeah. Well, not this immediate last Saturday, the week before, the 21st of October.
Yes. Check out her protest that she went, and talking about exercising your First Amendment rights. She was standing there in with how many groups were there? There was Gays Against Groomers. There was the
Okay. Yeah,
moms.
the Mom Army, the Dad Army, the Moms for America, the Moms for Freedom, and everything. And we were out there uh, trying to stop the sexualization, mutilation, and sterilization of our young people. There is no reason for anyone to push a transgender agenda on a person that is not old enough to understand the long-term ramifications of it. So, that's
Yeah.
a First
So
Amendment right.
so
Took a lot
check
of
that
abuse
out.
that
How you
day.
exercise.
Yes. I took a lot of abuse that day of people telling me I hated children. It's like, no, I don't. I love children.
Yeah.
I've always taken care of children. So anyway, you know, figure out your rights and use them. Use them. Don't let them continue taking them away from you. No, but anyway,
Exactly.
Cindy, you have a wonderful day, and I'll talk with you again on
Yes.
Wednesday at least, and probably talk to you later today. You never can tell around here. Um, But we thank you for joining us today, and please excuse our late start.
Yeah.
We have a new internet service provider, and today was the first full day of trying to do what we want to do to check the internet speed and so forth. So hopefully things have gone well today, and we thank you for joining us again. So I'm going to say
Yes,
goodbye to
thank you.
Cindy and everybody out there. And you want to tell everybody goodbye?
Goodbye, everybody. I will see you if you tune in. We'll see you on Wednesday at 10 o'clock uh, Central Time on High Octane.
Yep. And Cindy gets into some very deep subjects. You will enjoy her shows, I'm sure. So, anyway, thank you for joining us. And I am going to send us out of here. Goodbye, everybody.
All right.
When your freedoms are being taken.